All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, I had a member's request to check out this video here. The title has me intrigued. It is titled The 7 Deadly Sin of NBA Players, and it's by a channel called Hoop Uncuts. Small channel, 2.4 thousand subscribers. I think it's my first time checking this channel out, so new to me. Anyways, you guys, the link will be down below for the original channel, the original video here, if you guys want to check it out. I guess since we're talking about the 7 deadly sins of NBA players, first guy on my list would probably be like Wilt Chamberlain, and yeah, I guess we'll just go from there. So I don't know exactly what's gonna like represent the rest of them. Like, we talk about like gluttony, we might talk about like Charles Barkley or like Zion, but I'm interested to see where this video is going to go. So anyways, let's just get right to it, okay? Guys, I'm linking the original video down below in the description. Also, shout out to channel members. You'll see a list of them down in the description as well. I appreciate you all very much so. And without further ado, I say let's just get right into this one, okay? Like the video if you could, and hit that hype button if you got any of those left. I'd appreciate it. And let's go.
There are 7 NBA players who together perfectly represent the 7 deadly sins, and I'll be covering them all, starting with the sin of lust. Lust is described as an inordinate craving for the pleasures of the body. An NBA player who embodies lust to the fullest extent is none other than Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain is widely regarded as one of the most dominant players in NBA history, holding records that still stand decades after his retirement. But beyond his on-court accomplishments, Wilt became infamous for his off-court lifestyle, particularly when it came to women. In his 1991 autobiography, A View from Above, Chamberlain made one of the most shocking claims in sports history. He wrote that he had been intimate with approximately 20,000 women over the course of his lifetime.
How you meeting 20 women in a day? Oh man, here's the deal, man. You know, if you're a single man, you're rich, you're famous, you're an athlete, dude, do what you want. Have the time of your life. What I don't understand is why you got to brag about it. That's the only thing. Like that never sits well with me. It's like, you bragging about it makes me actually question whether or not it's real. While if you didn't brag about it, we all would have just assumed, yeah, man, he's probably sleeping like 2 different women a day. It's just his lifestyle.
Yes.
But when somebody brags, I don't know, man, that always makes me question, like, you're covering something up.
You heard that, right? 20,000 women. The claim immediately sparked controversy and disbelief across the sports world and beyond. Let's do the math on this.
Do it.
Wilt claimed he became sexually active at age 15 and wrote the book at age 55, giving him a 40-year span. To reach 20,000 women in 40 years, he would have needed to sleep with 1.4 women per day.
And the thing is we're not talking about the same woman. We're talking about that many women. So 1.4 different women a day. Like, what the hell? Like, he never slept with the same person twice?
Every single day for 4 decades straight. Even accounting for his fame, wealth, and the sexual revolution of the 1960s and 70s, the number seemed almost mathematically impossible to many observers. In interviews promoting the book, Wilt doubled down on the claim. When asked about it, he didn't back down or suggest it was an exaggeration. Instead, he explained his late-night lifestyle and constant travel as factors that made this possible. He described going to clubs and parties in every NBA city, meeting women constantly and having relationships that ranged from one-night encounters to brief affairs. The claim became so infamous that it essentially defined Wilt's legacy off the court. Decades after his death in 1999, the 20,000 women story continues to be referenced in discussions about him. Sports journalists, biographers, and fans still debate whether the number was literal or simply Wilt's way of emphasizing his active romantic life. What's particularly interesting is that Wilt never married and had no known children, despite these claims of thousands of encounters. In later interviews...
Okay, well, that's cool at least. If he was married and doing this stuff, that's a whole different ballgame. You're single, you do whatever the hell you want. I don't know, you guys. I've said what I need to say about Wilt Chamberlain. What do you guys think? Do you guys... Because we've all heard this thing. Do you think it's real? 20,000? 20,000 women? Not him saying I've had sex 20,000 times. He said I've been with 20,000 women. Do you buy it or do you think it's BS? I personally think it's BS.
Some who knew him suggested he might have exaggerated for publicity or that the number was meant metaphorically rather than literally.
And I think so too, because it's what sold that book. Him talking about the 20,000 women is what sold the freaking book. So I don't know, man. We just recently saw Scottie Pippen say all kinds of slanderous stuff in order to get interest into selling his book. What was it, Unguarded or whatever? So Wilt wouldn't be the first guy to pull this tactic.
However, Wilt himself never walked back the statement. The reception to Wilt's claim was mixed. Some saw it as the boastful swagger of a legendary athlete, while others criticized it as objectifying women or promoting unhealthy attitudes about relationships. Regardless of how people interpreted it, the claim cemented Wilt Chamberlain as the embodiment of lust in the sports world.
Yep.
A man whose appetite for physical pleasure, at least according to his own account, was truly insatiable. Wrath is defined as uncontrolled feelings of anger, rage, and even hatred.
Ooh, I'll pause it real quick. Who do you guys think this is going to describe? Oh, man. I don't even know, because I don't know what direction he's going to go. I mean, you could go Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan in here because they were always out for revenge. But I don't know, man. That's the best I got. What about you guys?
This description is Ron Artest, later known as Meta World
Ron Artest? Okay, let's hear it.
Peace, and now Meta Sandiford Artest. Ron Artest had a reputation throughout his career for being an intense, physical, and sometimes volatile player. But nothing defines the sin of wrath in NBA history, quite like the events of November 19th, 2004, an incident that would become known as the Malice at the Palace.
I don't know if I would call this wrath, man. I mean, I'm sure he's going to show what led up to the event, and I've done reaction videos specifically talking about this, so you guys know where my stance is. But he was calming himself down before the dude threw a beer at his face, and then he wanted payback. Would we call that wrath? I don't know.
The Indiana Pacers were playing the Detroit Pistons at the Palace of Auburn Hills. With less than a minute left in the game and the Pacers comfortably ahead, a hard foul by Artest on Ben Wallace sparked an initial confrontation between the two players. The situation appeared to be calming down when Artest, in an unusual move, laid down on the scorer's table to wait out the chaos.
Dang, man. Just the AI voices are getting so good. I didn't notice this was an AI voice until the pronunciation of Artest. These voices are getting way too good.
Then, a fan in the stands threw a cup of beer that hit Artest in the chest. What happened next changed NBA history forever.
Kind of in his
Artest
face.
immediately charged into the stands, punching a fan he believed had thrown the drink. Though it turned out he attacked the wrong person.
Yeah.
His teammate Steven Jackson followed him into the crowd, throwing punches at fans who were confronting Artest. The scene descended into absolute chaos. Players were fighting with fans in the stands. Security struggled to restore order. When Artest made his way back to the court, other fans came onto the floor, and more fights broke out.
Hey.
The entire sequence lasted.
Hey, what are you doing on the floor? At that point, what are you doing on the floor unless you wanted to fight? And that Detroit fan, he definitely went out there because he wanted to fight.
Several minutes and was broadcast live on national television, shocking viewers across the country. The aftermath was severe. NBA Commissioner David Stern handed down the longest suspensions in league history for an on-court incident. Artest was suspended for the remainder of the season, 86 games total, including playoffs. Steven Jackson received 30 games, and several other players and fans faced suspensions, criminal charges, and lifetime arena bans. The incident had lasting effects on the NBA. Security protocols were completely overhauled. The league implemented stricter alcohol policies at arenas. The relationship between players and fans was fundamentally altered, with new barriers and restrictions put in place to prevent similar incidents. But Artest's history of wrath didn't begin or end with the Malice at the Palace. Throughout his career, he was involved in numerous altercations, received multiple suspensions for violent plays, and was known for his aggressive on-court demeanor. In 2007, he was suspended for elbowing James Harden.
Oh, yeah. I forget about that one. I don't mean to laugh when I see it, but it's James Harden, so I'm just a dick.
Head during the game. He had confrontations with coaches, teammates, and opponents throughout his 17-year NBA career. Interestingly, Artest later changed his name to Meta World Peace in 2011, claiming he wanted.
That was the irony. The I don't know. There's so much humor in him naming himself Meta World Peace
to promote a message of peace and positivity. The irony wasn't lost on basketball fans, who remembered the man who had charged into the stands throwing punches, now advocating for world peace.
Yep.
He later changed his name again to Meta Sandiford Artist. Despite attempts at rebranding and promoting peace, Ron Artest's legacy is forever tied to that November night in Detroit when his uncontrolled rage led to the most infamous brawl in NBA history.
I'll be fair to Ron Artest. Ever since he changed his name, I haven't seen him get into much trouble. So maybe that he needed to do that for himself, so he had like a standard to live up to. So he does send a message of peace instead of violence. I don't know. Crazy.
No player better represents the deadly sin of wrath than the man who literally fought fans in the stands on live television. The definition of
Okay, do you guys agree with that one? With Ron Artest for wrath? I see the case. I do. Pride.
That one is essentially better than
Shaquille O'Neal.
Others, failing to acknowledge the accomplishments of others.
LeBron James. Like, those are the two I would think of off the top of my head. What about you guys?
An excessive admiration of the personal self. No NBA player fits this description better than LeBron James.
Okay.
Now, before we go further, let's be clear. LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players.
Oh, he's doing a Stephen A. Smith. LeBron James is a great father. He's done a lot for the community. He's one of the greatest of all time. However...
of all time. His accomplishments speak for themselves.
But
4 NBA championships, 4 MVP awards, and countless records.
Yep.
But his journey to greatness has been marked by moments of excessive pride.
Yeah.
That perfectly embody this deadly sin.
I agree with this one.
The defining moment of LeBron's pride came on July 9th, 2010, at the American Airlines Arena in Miami. After his controversial televised decision special where he announced he was leaving Cleveland to join the Miami Heat, LeBron appeared at a welcome rally that can only be described as over the top. With smoke machines, dramatic lighting, and a concert-like atmosphere, LeBron took the stage alongside new teammates Dwyane Wade and Chris Bosh.
Dwyane.
Then came the moment that would haunt him for years.
Yeah, that Dwyane Wade is one of my favorite players.
LeBron grabbed the microphone and made a proclamation that shocked even his supporters.
Not 2.
Even
not
Dwyane?
3, not 4. Not 5.
Not 6. Not 7. So 8.
He was counting
in 4 years.
Championships. LeBron was confidently predicting that the Miami Heat would win at least 7 NBA titles with him on the roster. The crowd went wild, but the basketball world was stunned by the arrogance of the statement.
What? I've never seen this footage. What is this?
Hubris was breathtaking. Here was a player who had never won a championship, who had famously underperformed in the 2010 playoffs against Boston, predicting a dynasty before playing a single game with his new team. The statement became instant meme material and gave ammunition to everyone who criticized LeBron for leaving Cleveland.
And it's also funny because now, you know, him and his fans try to always point out, oh, it's not a super team. The Miami Heat, we're not a super team. Dude, you predicted 8 championships before even playing 1 game with the Miami Heat. Yeah, it's a super team. Not only you guys were assuming you're going to win that much, we all had to assume you're going to win that much because it was so just stacked in your favor. The deck was stacked in your favor, and you still couldn't get it done, man. That's the craziest thing. All right, I didn't come here to talk about LeBron James today, but this is perfect. This is the perfect spot for LeBron to be in.
And forming a super team. What made it worse was that LeBron's first season in Miami ended in failure. The Heat lost to the Dallas Mavericks in the 2011 finals, with LeBron playing poorly in crucial moments. All the championship predictions, all the celebration, all the pride came crashing down.
That's what you get. You don't celebrate before the job is done. You pat yourself in the back after you accomplish the job. He did it before they even started training together.
As LeBron faced the biggest criticism of his career. To his credit, LeBron eventually won 2 championships with Miami in 2012 and 2013, far short of the 7 he'd predicted.
Yeah, no kidding.
Years later, he would joke about the incident, acknowledging how it looked and how it became a symbol of premature celebration.
Yeah, so much that he did it again for a commercial just recently. He definitely learned his lesson.
But the not 1, not 2, not 3 moment wasn't LeBron's only display of pride. Throughout his career, he's referred to himself as the Chosen One, a nickname from his high school days that he embraced.
Yeah, what was he selling? Hennessy this time or something like that? Some liquor he was selling.
He's made statements comparing himself to Michael Jordan in the GOAT, greatest of all time. Debate. He's also been criticized for controlling his narrative through media allies, for taking credit for teammates' development, and for sometimes appearing to prioritize his legacy over team success. These are debatable points, and LeBron has many defenders, but they contribute to the perception of pride.
Yeah.
LeBron's talent has always backed up most of his confidence. But that July night in Miami, when he stood on stage predicting 7 championships before proving he could win even 1 with his new team, LeBron James perfectly embodied the sin of pride.
Yeah, and you wonder why we were rooting against you. Of course we were. Anybody who's going to stand on stage and gloat like that, like, we already won. We already won. No, man, no one's going to root for you. You're Goliath now. So he started out as David, and he became Goliath, with his stacked team. Now we're rooting for the Davids out there.
Excessive confidence and self.
And that was the Dallas freaking Mavericks that in 010, 011. That was the Dallas Mavericks, man, and we rooted for them. And boy, am I so glad they kicked your ass.
Admiration that ultimately had to face reality. Gluttony is characterized by limitless.
Okay. This is the big one, guys. I'm gonna go Zion, but honestly, Charles Barkley can fit into this category as well, because he started out with weight problems, then he got it under control, and then by about 1994, he had weight problems again, and now it's been on and off his whole life. Like, now he's on the Ozempic, so he's skinny again, but we all know that won't last forever. He's gonna get hungry again. Okay, so my guess is Zion, but secondary is Charles Barkley. What about you guys? Stick it in the comments.
Appetite and overindulgence to the point where one is no longer consuming just to live, but rather living to consume. An NBA player who expresses gluttony through his insatiable...
What? Oh, so we're not talking about food. What are we talking about here? What, Russ? This is not... okay, I gotta hear this out.
Hunger for statistics.
Stats.
Is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is one of the most explosive and athletic point guards in NBA history. His career has been defined by intensity, competitiveness, and an almost superhuman motor that never seems to stop. But it's also been defined by something else: triple-doubles and the accusations of stat padding that followed them. A triple-double means recording double-digit numbers in 3 statistical categories in a single game, usually points, rebounds, and assists. For decades, averaging a triple-double for an entire season was considered virtually impossible. Oscar Robertson did it in 1961-62.
It's just a weird take on it. I expected him to talk about actual gluttony.
No one matched that feat for 55 years. Then came Russell Westbrook. In the 2016-17 season, Westbrook averaged a triple-double for the entire year: 31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 10.4 assists per game.
Crazy.
It was a historic achievement that earned him the MVP award. But rather than being universally celebrated, Westbrook's accomplishment sparked a debate that would follow him for years. Was he genuinely achieving greatness, or was he stat padding? The accusations intensified.
As much of a fan as I am of Russ, he's never won. He's never won a championship, so I can't say that this achieved greatness. It didn't. I hate to call them empty stats, but a lot of it is empty stats.
When Westbrook averaged a triple-double again in 2017-18, and then again in 2018-19, and then again in 2020-21. What was once considered impossible, Westbrook made routine. He became the NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles, surpassing Oscar Robertson's record that had stood for decades. But
I've seen him get triple-doubles off the bench. Hell, he just did it this season at least once. I have to question what your goals are. If you're coming in and you're stacked, I mean, it's impressive. Don't get me wrong; it's not easy to do that, especially off the bench. It's very difficult. But I have to question: are you intentionally going for this, or are you just trying to do whatever your team needs to win that day? I have to kind of assume he's going for the stats first. It's like stats first, win second.
Pointed to specific behaviors that suggested Westbrook was hunting for stats rather than playing winning basketball. Video analysis showed his teammates sometimes allowing him to grab uncontested rebounds that they could have easily secured. His assist numbers occasionally came from forcing passes in situations where a shot might have been better. His late-game stat chasing when games were already decided became a running joke among NBA fans.
Yeah.
The most damning criticism was that despite all these triple-doubles, Westbrook's teams weren't winning championships.
Yep, exactly.
His playing style, critics argued, prioritized personal statistics over team efficiency. His usage rate was among the highest in NBA history, meaning he dominated the ball to an extent that some believed hurt his team's overall performance.
Nice pass.
Westbrook bristled at these accusations. In April 2018, he told reporters he was tired of hearing about stat padding, defending his achievements and pointing out that averaging a triple-double requires incredible consistency and effort, regardless of motivation. He argued that critics were diminishing a genuinely historic accomplishment. The debate continued throughout his career, When Westbrook needed 16 rebounds in the final game of the 2017-18 season to average a triple-double for the year, he got exactly 20, and critics immediately questioned whether his teammates had helped him reach the milestone artificially. Westbrook's gluttony for statistics became so pronounced that it defined how he was perceived. Every rebound was scrutinized, every assist was questioned. His incredible athleticism and competitiveness were undeniable, but so was his apparent obsession with accumulating numbers.
And I was hoping, I mean, a good part of me was rooting for Denver to win a championship last year. And a lot of that was because of him. Also, I'm a big Jokic fan, as you guys know. But I was also kind of hoping he could prove me and everybody else wrong by coming off the bench and, you know, doing whatever the team needed to do and resulting in a championship. Like, to me, at that point, he's a champ. You can't take it away from him. You question his methods or whatever, but he's a champ. But then he fell apart in the last round of the playoffs.
The comparison to gluttony is perfect because Westbrook's hunger for triple-doubles seemed insatiable.
I guess I get it.
One historic season wasn't enough. Neither were 2, 3, or 4. He kept consuming stats, piling up triple-doubles, breaking records, and feeding an appetite that appeared limitless. Like gluttony, where eating stops being about nutrition and becomes about the act itself, Westbrook's game sometimes appeared to be about accumulating statistics rather than purely winning basketball games. His legacy will always include both his remarkable achievements and the questions about whether his appetite for personal stats sometimes came at the expense of team success. Sloth is described as reluctance to work or make an effort, also known as laziness.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I'm sorry, guys. I'm thinking reluctance to work or make an effort, or also known as DeAndre Ayton. I don't know. Like, I'm drawing a blank here. Put it in. Put your comments in because I don't want to delay this anymore, guys. Let me know in the comments because I'm sure you guys got better answers. But I mean, Ayton, it works. It works. He just got bought out because everyone wanted him. Oh, Ben Simmons,
an NBA player whose legendary career was reportedly limited by his work ethic.
Shaq. Yeah, but Shaq won 4 championships still. There are better examples than that one, in my opinion. Because it's okay. He got to a peak. He won a championship. He was the best in the world, and then he got lazy. But there are players who like just did the bare bones minimum, like a Ben Simmons, got their check, never won a damn thing, and then they got super lazy and never wanted to work on anything. So like, I like to give Shaq a hard time because he's a very insecure dude. But I don't believe he should be on top of the list here. Am I crazy? Do you guys agree?
This one requires some context, because calling Shaq lazy seems absurd at first. He's a 4-time NBA champion, 3-time Finals MVP.
And by the time he did get lazy, he had been in the league for 10 years. I'm not saying like that is an excuse, but we got players who played 2 or 3 years, never won a damn thing, and they got lazy. We're talking about an MVP, a Finals MVP, you know, a multi-time champion, and then he got lazy. You know...
15-time All-Star and one of the most dominant centers in basketball history. He was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. How could someone with that resume be considered slothful? The answer comes from Shaq's longtime teammate and rival,
Kobe
Bryant.
Yeah.
In multiple interviews over the years, Kobe made pointed comments about Shaq's work ethic and conditioning. The most famous came in a 2019 interview when Kobe stated bluntly, "I would have had 12 fucking rings if he had my work ethic."
Yeah.
12 rings. Kobe was saying that Shaq was so naturally talented and dominant that if he'd worked as hard as Kobe did, the Lakers dynasty could have won 12 championships instead of the 3 they captured together from 2000 to 2002. Kobe elaborated on this theme multiple times. He talked about how Shaq would show up to training camp out of shape every year, using the first month of the season to play himself into condition,
and then
rather than arriving ready to compete.
Yeah.
He described Shaq's...
And then that's also why he got injured a lot in the beginning of the seasons too.
Reluctance to work on his free throw shooting,
Yep.
which remained a glaring weakness throughout his career, despite Shaq having access to the best coaches and training facilities in the world. In one interview, Kobe said Shaq's laziness drove him crazy during their time together. He described how Shaq could have been the greatest player of all time if he'd committed to year-round conditioning, studied film like Jordan, and worked on his weaknesses with the same intensity he brought to dunking on opponents. The free throw issue is particularly telling. Shaq shot 52.7% from the free throw line for his career, historically bad for a player of his caliber. Teams developed the hack-a-Shaq strategy, intentionally fouling him because he was more likely to miss free throws than make them. This weakness was exploitable and cost his teams games, yet Shaq never significantly improved despite having 19 years to work on it. Shaq's response to Kobe's criticism has been mixed. Sometimes he laughed it off, acknowledging that he could have worked harder. Other times he defended himself, pointing to his championships, MVP awards, and dominance as evidence that his approach worked just fine. He argued that he stayed healthy by not overworking himself and that his way of doing things led to one of the greatest careers in NBA history. But the criticism from Kobe, one of the hardest working players ever.
Yeah, and I don't like that quote of his that they just flashed for a second, where he says, "I don't need to work out to play against these bums." It's obviously not the case, or else you would have had a bunch of MVPs, dude. I'm just saying, I don't think you should be on this list. However, it's not like you won 5 or 6 MVPs, dude. And yeah, I don't know. The way he talks, it's very insecure, is all it is. He's protecting himself. He's defending himself. I think deep down inside he knows, because he's admitted it a couple of times where he's like, yeah, I could have worked harder. I could have trained harder and blah, 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 stayed in shape and ate less and all that. But I don't know. I think it's just pride.
Stings because it comes from someone who knew Shaq intimately and saw firsthand what he could have been. Other teammates and coaches made similar observations over the years. Phil Jackson, who coached both Kobe and Shaq, made subtle comments about Shaq's conditioning and preparation that suggested Kobe wasn't alone in his assessment. The tragedy of sloth is wasted potential, and that's exactly what Kobe was pointing to. Shaq was already great, dominant, unstoppable, a force of nature, but according to those who played with him, he could have been the undisputed greatest of all time if he'd been willing to put in the work off the court that matched his talent on it.
Well, yeah, and you can't call yourself unstoppable when, in order to stop you, we just got to foul you and put you on the free throw line. You know? So, I really think if he wants to call himself unstoppable, he should have at least worked out that weakness. All that being said, he shouldn't be the guy here, in my opinion, because he actually accomplished a lot before he got lazy. Ben Simmons, DeAndre Ayton, what have you accomplished? Nothing? You just cashed your check? Yep, that's what I thought.
Shaq's sloth wasn't about being completely lazy. You can't become a Hall of Famer without tremendous effort in many areas. Rather, it was about not maximizing his incredible gifts, about settling for great when greatest ever was within reach if he just committed to the conditioning, the free throws, and the year-round dedication that separate good from great and great from legendary.
Yep.
Envy is defined as jealousy over the blessings and achievements of others.
Ooh. Oh boy. Right now in 2025, Tracy McGrady. I don't know. This one's tough. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about envy. Who should be the person for envy? I'm still thinking. Isaiah Thomas.
An NBA player who has displayed these envious attributes.
Yeah, this works as well.
On numerous occasions is Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest players in NBA history. A 6-time champion with the Chicago Bulls, 7-time All-Star, and Hall of Famer. Pippen was an integral part of the dynasty that won 6 championships in 8 years during the 1990s. He was widely considered the perfect complement to Michael Jordan, a versatile defender, and playmaker who made the Bulls unstoppable. But in 2020 and 2021, Pippen's legacy took a strange turn that revealed deep-seated envy toward his former teammate. The catalyst was ESPN's documentary series The Last Dance, which chronicled the Bulls' final championship season in 1997-98.
I read an interview with Phil Jackson recently from a couple of months ago, if even that old. And Phil was talking about it, where he was saying like him and Mike, him and MJ still talk to each other all the time. So they talk about Scottie, they do, and they talk about how unfortunate it is that whatever happened, that friendship is gone. Jordan reached out to Scottie, tried to see if he can mend whatever damage has been done between the two of them, talk it out. Scottie wants nothing to do with it, and I also think Phil Jackson is in that camp as well, because Scottie never retracted Phil Jackson is a racist statements. So it's kind of a crazy thing. You'd think all three of them would be friends, you know, call each other up and reminisce about old times. But it's Phil and MJ. But Scotty burned both of those bridges. It's just incredible that he did it. It's more incredible. It's more incredible that he hasn't come to his senses and apologized now, because I know there was a ton of personal things going on, you know, very traumatic things going on in his life leading up to him saying the things that he said. So I remember me and my brother talking about it, because it kind of crushed us, you know, because it was like our childhood. Like, what the hell are you doing, Scotty? Like, what are you doing here? But we both kind of agreed, like, after everything he's been through, everyone needs to just give him a little bit of time, a little bit of a pass, and he'll come to his senses and apologize. We're about 5 years later. I don't think he's snapping out of it, you guys.
The series was enormously popular, drawing millions of viewers and reigniting interest in Jordan's career. However, Jordan served as an executive producer on the project, which gave him significant editorial control over how the story was told. Pippen was unhappy with his portrayal in the documentary. While he was shown as a great player, the series focused primarily on Jordan's greatness, and certain episodes highlighted Pippen's contract disputes and his infamous decision to sit out the final play of a 1994 playoff game after Phil Jackson drew up the last shot for Tony Kukoc instead of him.
And Phil mentioned this play as well, because what Jordan said in The Last Dance, it's true. He verified it. He said the next day after that game, you know, Jordan was playing baseball, but he called up Phil and he was like, dude, what happened? Like, what are you guys going to do? And he was like worried about Scotty, because he was like, he's never going to be able to live this one down. Like, he's never going to be able to, like, just, there's no way around this, basically. You did it. You gave up on your team. You quit on your team. You really did it. And you did it in the playoffs when they needed you the most. You can't live it down. And I think that also played into part of the reason why Jordan really wanted to come back. Because he's talked about it a couple of times, where he's like, it's hard to see his little brother struggle, referring to Scotty, because now Scotty's having to learn what it's like to be the guy, the captain, and have all the pressure, all the weight on your shoulders. And he saw what he did after 1 year. He led to him cracking and quitting on the team, you know, because his ego got so big. So, yeah, I really think that's a big part of the reason why Jordan decided to come back and help. I think he felt guilty for leaving.
After The Last Dance aired, Pippen began a campaign of criticism against Jordan that shocked the basketball
and
world.
Phil.
In his 2021 memoir, Unguarded, Pippen went after Jordan relentlessly, calling the documentary a glorification of Jordan that minimized the contributions of teammates. In the book and subsequent interviews, Pippen made increasingly bitter statements. He accused Jordan of being condescending and controlling the narrative to make himself look good at others' expense. He questioned Jordan's leadership style and suggested that the Bulls' success was more of a team effort than...
I mean, okay, because Scott, I've said this before, and maybe this will be the last time I ever talk about it, but Scotty had an opportunity, okay? What he did when he quit on his team was in 1994, right? So we're talking about 26 years later. Is that right? 26 years later, yeah. The Last Dance, for the Last Dance documentary, they ask him about it. He tells his side of the story, and then he has the nerve. This is him in 2020. He has the nerve to say, and you know what? If I can go back and do it all over again, I would do it. I wouldn't change a thing. So in other words, he would quit on his team again. Like, he could have, like, all he had to do is say, I was young, I was in my ego, I shouldn't have done that. You should never quit on your team, but I did it, and I'm sorry, you know, my bad. You know, I can't believe I did that. But instead, he doubled down, saying, I would still do it again if I could go back. I wouldn't change anything. So he's the one who said that. Michael Jordan didn't say that. He said that to himself. He shot himself in the foot.
Jordan-centric story that had been told for decades. But Pippen went even further, making one of the most provocative claims in NBA discourse. He said Michael Jordan ruined the game of basketball by making it too focused on individual excellence.
Yep, and he also called Phil Jackson a racist because he gave Tony the last shot instead of him.
Team play. This was a stunning statement, considering Jordan is widely regarded as the greatest player in NBA history and helped popularize basketball globally.
Yes, sir.
Pippen also began promoting LeBron James as the greatest player of all time, explicitly positioning LeBron above Jordan in the GOAT debate.
It's a tactic he learned from Isaiah Thomas.
Many observers saw this as transparently motivated by bitterness toward Jordan rather than genuine basketball analysis.
100%.
The envy became even more apparent when Pippen started criticizing Jordan's actual playing ability, calling him horrible without the supporting cast and suggesting he wasn't as complete a player as his reputation suggested. These comments contradicted decades of Pippen's own previous statements praising Jordan and acknowledging his greatness.
That's how you know he's full of crap.
What made Pippen's behavior fit the sin of envy so perfectly was that it came from someone who had achieved incredible success himself.
It's a convoluted mess. If you were to just type in like a Google or a YouTube search, Scottie Pippen GOAT debate, you'll see a completely different answer depending on the year. So now you might hear, now it's even confusing. One time he says Jordan, the next time he says LeBron. But back in the day, it was Jordan. There ain't no world where I'd rather have LeBron over Jordan on my team. But now he's mad, so he's saying LeBron. For a while there, he was saying it might be Kobe Bryant, when Kobe was still active, pre-injuries. But yeah, now it's just it's a mess if you do that. If you just search that in YouTube, because you can't just sit with one answer. You're gonna get multiple answers from the same guy.
Hall of Fame career, widely respected as one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. But rather than being satisfied with his own legacy, Pippen seemed consumed by jealousy over the fact that Jordan received more credit, more adoration, and more recognition for those Bulls championships. The documentary's success and the renewed celebration of Jordan's career appeared to trigger something in Pippen, a feeling that he hadn't received proper recognition, that Jordan had stolen glory that should have been shared more equally, that his own contributions had been overlooked in favor of the Jordan mythology. Many former teammates and basketball observers were baffled by Pippen's turn. Here was a man who had everything to be proud of, who could have gracefully accepted his role in one of the greatest dynasties in sports history, choosing instead to tear down his former teammate and diminish the accomplishments they achieved together. That's the essence of envy, the inability to celebrate others' success, the bitterness over perceived inequity, the jealousy that poisons one's own achievements. Scottie Pippen, despite 6 rings and a Hall of Fame career, couldn't overcome his envy of Michael Jordan's greater recognition, and in revealing that envy publicly, he perfectly embodied this deadly sin. Greed is described as a selfish and excessive desire to acquire something,
usually pertaining to material wealth. LeBron James again, because he's still getting paid $50-something million. Latrell Sprewell, that's my official guess. All right, what about you guys? What's your guess for greed? And why Latrell Sprewell? Because he was offered like $80 million or something like that, which was crazy. And he rejected it, saying, I've got a family to feed, or I've got kids to feed. And then he never got another contract from anybody else in the NBA ever again, which was pretty justified the way I see it. That's my guess. Your turn.
Pertaining to material wealth.
Yeah!
An NBA player whose greed led to one of the most infamous quotes in sports history is Latrell Sprewell. Latrell Sprewell was a talented shooting guard who played 13 seasons in the NBA. A 4-time All-Star, he was known for his scoring ability and defensive intensity.
And mind you, I say all that about him. I was a huge fan of his ever since he got drafted. I still got probably like 30 of his basketball cards somewhere in here. Actually, I know exactly where they are, because I forgot I was that big of a Sprewell fan until I was like, damn, I was really collecting his cards. Very talented basketball player. His head, I don't know where the hell his brain was at for this.
He helped lead the New York Knicks to the NBA Finals in 1999 and was a key contributor to competitive Minnesota Timberwolves teams in the early 2000s. But Sprewell's career and legacy were defined by 2 incidents of greed and violence that perfectly capture this deadly sin. First came in 1997 when Sprewell was playing for the Golden State Warriors. During a practice, he got into an altercation with head coach PJ Carlesimo and physically attacked him, choking him and threatening him before teammates pulled him away. Sprewell returned 20 minutes later and punched Carlesimo in the face. The Warriors terminated his contract, and the NBA suspended him for 1 year, 68 games, the longest suspension for an on-court incident at that time. Sprewell's response to losing his contract He sued the Warriors and the NBA for $30 million, claiming the punishment was too severe.
You almost killed your coach. You almost killed your coach, and I bet you didn't apologize either. I don't remember him apologizing.
The lawsuit demonstrated an attitude that would define the rest of his career, an excessive focus on money above all else, including professional relationships and public image. But the incident that truly cemented Spruell's representation of greed came in 2004, playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Spruell and I was a big fan of this Timberwolves team too, man. Him, Sam Cassell, KG. This pissed me off. Like I said, I was a big fan of Sprewell. This really pissed me off because he ruined a good team here.
For a 3-year contract extension worth $21 million. This was guaranteed money, financial security that most people could never dream.
$21 million, 3 years, $7 million a year back in 2004, and he's not the star. Yeah, take the freaking money, man.
Spruell's response became instantly infamous. He rejected the offer, saying, "I have a family to feed."
Yep.
Let that sink in. Latrell Sprewell turned down $21 million guaranteed dollars because he felt it wasn't enough to feed his family.
Yeah, this is the guy, which, like, I'm actually kind of surprised anybody gave him a contract now that I'm older and I understand this more. I'm surprised he wasn't just blackballed out of the NBA after him almost killing PJ like that. Like, he should be thankful at that point. I'm getting a second chance. You'd be grateful. I'm a multi-millionaire still for playing basketball. Let's be on good behavior and, cash this in as long as we can.
The comment was so absurdly tone deaf, so disconnected from the financial reality most people live in, that it became an immediate cultural touchstone for greed and entitlement. Yep. To put this in perspective, $21 million would have been approximately $7 million per year. Sprewell was already wealthy from his previous contracts. The idea that this amount was insufficient to support his family was laughable to the public. The average American household income at the time was around $45,000 per year. Sprewell was saying that 155 times that amount annually wasn't enough. The comment revealed pure greed, not satisfaction with wealth that would set up his family for generations, but an insatiable desire for more. It wasn't about need. It was about want. It was about ego, about feeling valued financially above all other considerations. The consequences were severe. No team offered Sprewell a contract after he rejected Minnesota's offer. His NBA career ended not because he couldn't play anymore, but because teams were unwilling to meet his financial demands and deal with his attitude.
It's a combination of the both. You already proved it. You're dangerous. You have a bad attitude. You're violent. But also, you're not going to appreciate you're not going to appreciate millions of dollars. Fuck off, dude. Like, there's people fighting, begging to get into the NBA. You want to be like this? Get out of here, man. I don't know who you thought you were, man. You're not LeBron James. You're not Michael Jordan. You're not Kobe Bryant. You get out of here with this crap.
He's only 34 years old and still capable of contributing, but his greed priced him out of the league. The aftermath got worse. Sprewell faced financial troubles in subsequent years, with his yacht repossessed and legal issues over unpaid bills.
Got a yacht.
The man who turned down $21 million because it wasn't enough to feed his family ended up in financial distress because he overestimated his worth and couldn't manage his ego.
What are you feeding him, $1,000 bills?
Sprewell's story is a cautionary tale about greed. He had talent, success, championships within reach, and financial offers that would have secured his family's future. But his excessive desire for more money, his inability to recognize what he already had as sufficient, led to the premature end of his career and damaged his legacy permanently. The "I have a family to feed" quote has endured for 2 decades as one of the most tone-deaf statements in sports history. It perfectly captures the deadly sin of greed, the selfish, excessive desire for material wealth that blinds someone to reason, gratitude, and reality. Latrell Sprewell represents greed in its purest form. Never satisfied, always wanting more, even when more means losing everything. These 7 NBA players, Wilt Chamberlain, Ron Artest, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Shaquille O'Neal, Scottie Pippen, and Latrell Sprewell, each embody one of the 7 deadly sins through their actions, attitudes, and legacies. From lust to greed, their stories remind us that even the greatest athletes are human, capable of the same flaws and vices that have defined human nature for centuries. Their talents made them legends, but their sins made them unforgettable.
Dang. Cool video. I actually really, really enjoyed this one. Good times. I am actually I know it's an AI voice, but I am going to go ahead and subscribe to that one. Link is down below in the description if you guys want to check it out. But that was a fun video. Oh man, Latrell Sprewell. Freaking Latrell Sprewell. I'll never forget he did it. I'll never forget what he did. Shoot. What was I thinking about? I was thinking about something right before this video ended. But yeah, I like the list. I really do. The only one I was a little bit, you know, I understand the angle, but I wanted him to go a different route was the gluttony thing. But I understand. You know, it's just a stat patter. And there's a lot of stat patters. There's a lot of stat patters today. And I've never been a fan of theirs, so it is kind of cool to call him out. I like that this video called out LeBron too, because that was well earned. But I thought the list was pretty fair. They called out Shaq too. Anyways, you guys, I am very interested. You guys heard all my opinions, and you heard my predictions and all that. So I don't think there's really much to say on the outro. We already covered it in real time there. So I'm more so curious about what you guys have to say. So if you didn't put in your comments while you were watching, please put them in now. I'd love to read them and see how close, you know, of a consensus maybe you guys were to what I was thinking, or what you guys were or how close you guys are to what the video was thinking here. Because I think I was wrong about everyone except for the last one with Latrell Sprewell. So anyways, you guys, I will see you all down in the comment section. Please leave this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Thank you so much for watching with me and engaging with me. And yeah, hit that subscribe plus if you want to support my channel. And most importantly is to be water, my friends. Peace out.